Well guys, as promised, here's my first installation of how to change the clutch in your 164. I brought the car out to my parents' house because my dad has an air compressor. It should speed things along a little bit, but you can see I started by first disconnecting the battery, then go and take your intake components out. Mine only had the cone filter on it, so I was able to take it off just in one piece, so that helped. I've only been working on this about 20 minutes, so got that out. I've taken the slave cylinder off and just placed it up out of the way. Disconnect your transmission. I think this is your speedometer sender, and then there is another plug here that goes way down in here to a little pigtail. Then this connector is going to come unplugged and through the hole in the firewall and just route it so it's out of the way of the transmission. Next, move to the wheel wells and take the wheels off. And your fender liners. The fender liners come out fairly easy, and once again I'm working with one hand, so there's the front. The front comes out first, then you have to free the back. And it is a very windy day here today, so I'm going to be chasing this thing. You have to get it around the lip here, and then get it up over this ABS connector and your brake lines. Okay, this side wasn't as easy as the passenger side. This was getting hung up between the coil spring and the brake components. But once they're out, you'll see you have excellent access to the end of the engine. Anything you need to get back here, as well as the other side. When I first bought my 164, my red one, I was terrified because I didn't know how I was going to work on it until I started poking around, and apparently you're meant to work through the wheel wells. You take those liners out and access is pretty amazing. But I'm going to get back to work. I'll film some more when I get a little progression made. Well, after a couple hours work, I'm at where I should have been about an hour and a half ago. I was trying to get this tie rod apart with a screwdriver because I didn't have a pickle fork, and I finally broke down and went out and bought a pickle fork. So it was off in about 2 minutes after I got in the driveway. Another case of it pays to have the right tools. I wasted about 2 hours trying to get that apart. I have this drive shaft off. this strut is completely loose from the control arm. You don't have to take it totally out. You just have to get it to where you can get the drive shaft out of the way so the transmission can move. Because you don't have to take the transmission completely out of the car. I have this mount, the nuts off of it. I'm going around on this side, and I've taken almost all the drive shaft bolts out except for the one that's left here. As you can see, the nuts on the inside, and Alfa was nice enough to let it sit in a spot where you don't have to put a wrench on it. So in a few minutes I'll be going to tackle the starter, actually the intermediate shaft between the gearbox and the drive shaft. You can kind of see the flange of it right there in the center. It bolts to the transmission. That intermediate shaft has to come out as well. A friend of mine says you can do it with it in. He's done it both ways, but he says it's easier just to spend the extra time and take it out. So that's what I'm going to do, because a little time's worth some easiness. So once I get everything out, I should be starting to separate the gearbox, and I'll have footage of that for you in part 3. Okay, here we go, part 3 of the clutch job. When they say the worst part about it is the starter, they're right. It kind of sucks. Basically, I took the heat shield that's sitting right there. Take that off first. There's two 13mm bolts holding it on. You can kind of get at them just with a socket. The one's right there, and the other one's up right behind this fork looking thing there. And it's just two bolts hold the starter in. There's a shim plate. You want to be sure to get this back in. I don't know if they had a long bolt in this one, but it had a spacer on it, so I put it in that hole, and that's where it's going to stay. So right now I'm getting ready to drain the transmission. I'm going to take this part of the flange off for the intermediate shaft. I have the 3 bolts for the holding plate loose, so once this flange is off, the intermediate shaft should slide right out the passenger side, just far enough to get the transmission out. So I'm almost home free. About ready to, once I drain the transmission, I'm ready to take this off and break the transmission from the motor, and it's time to just change the clutch itself and put it all back together. But part 4 will be in a little bit. Well, the clutch is out. If ever you bleed your clutch and it still doesn't want to disengage, there's what could be happening. The release bearing had milled its way through the fingers, and it's probably 1/16 of an inch in there, maybe an 1/8. It's pretty deep. But I'm very dirty. It's 4 in the afternoon. I started this endeavor at 11:30, so I figure take 2 hours out for wasting not having a pickle fork.